This is why I knew I believe Russ. When somebody gets angry and they use the terms like "I promise" and "swear to God" and on everything I love,
swear on everything I love,
that means I'm willing to risk it all in order to prove my point that I will not be slandered or disrespected. But also, I don't think we should show the interview of the fan. Here's why. The exact same reason why we don't show streakers when they're running during the game. You don't want to encourage other people to do it. So while we're going to have this amazing conversation about why this fan allegedly...
you mean because copycat, and now fans are going to do this to try to get on shows like First Take and Get Up.
Absolutely, and that's what's going to now happen because this fan got his 15 minutes of fame. We're talking about his social media. We're talking about what he said to Russ. And ultimately, the NBA doesn't really have to do much to change this. The security is available. They just need to act on it. They gave him a red card. They gave a couple of fans red cards.
Which, by the way, I'm not satisfied with. They should have ejected the fan immediately.
That's what you do. There shouldn't be any pump faking. That should be initial action when you know somebody's being slandered.
Here's where I disagree with you. When we talk about giving the fans their 15 seconds, their 15 minutes. The fact of the matter is the media didn't do that. Russell Westbrook did that because Russell Westbrook was very demonstrative and very pointed in his comments towards that specific individual. And he made a claim that we all completely believe, okay? But if you gonna claim this man did X, Y, Z, then that man deserves the right to respond because in some instances, they may be innocent. He ain't. I don't think any of us believe that nonsense based on his social media history and a kind of bogus story that he gave when he was being interviewed. But if we hadn't heard from him at all, and we didn't have his name, we didn't have his social media history, and we heard nothing from him, then ultimately we get to look at just Russell Westbrook. And while all of us up here completely believe about his character, his veracity, et cetera, there are an abundance of people out there who would question it, who would have the license to question it, because all you had was his one-sided version. Seeing that man helps Russell Westbrook because you know his history and you saw the story and you recognize how implausible it may be. And as a result, you're able to say, please.
The point Jalen's making is a separate point, though. I totally agree with what you're saying. But now other fans, other crazies are going to try and go out and do this, a copycat manner to be able to get on TV.
That's all because of the absence of repercussions. If they had repercussions, I assure you they would not be encouraged.
But the point is that it's Westbrook's response. Stephen A's point. Westbrook's response allows the fan to be interviewed. Had Russell, there's another reason Russell should not have responded that way. Because now, you can get the other side of the story when normally you don't show the streaker. I agree. The other thing to consider for Russell Westbrook is when you respond to this guy, you're making him important. He's not important. He's nobody. He's a nobody. He's less than a nobody. He is if it's true that what he posted on social media, he's less than nobody.
Well,
he's
worse than nobody.
Let me respond.
Well, you can go to security and you can say that man is yelling X, Y, and Z. I'd like him removed.
I agree with that, but I would say this to you, with all due respect, and I know you know this. When you say, listen, he's a nobody, there's a whole bunch of nobodies out there. There's a whole bunch of ignorant nobodies out there. But it doesn't make their words at you time to time less piercing. Let me share a very, very personal story with y'all that happened to me. So we're in San Antonio. In 2005, I believe they're going against the Detroit Pistons. And 2 minutes before I'm to go on SportsCenter, 2 minutes, I found out that there's a death in my family. I'm devastated, but I got to go on the air at that moment. And after I finished the SportsCenter segment, the fans in San Antonio, not all of them because most of them are great, but these particular fans were really, really heckling me in a way where they were saying some very, very vicious things. And I turned around and stuck up my middle finger at them and dropped the F-bomb on them. I've never done that in my career, but consider the moment that I'm in, okay? Here's the blessing in all of that. They literally said, we got him. They were like, they got me. And they did. I was fortunate because the great George Bodenheimer, the former boss of this company, was there. okay? I don't know whether he saw directly what happened, but he was aware of what had transpired just minutes earlier. And he put his arms around me. And I don't even know if he remembers this. This is 2005. He puts his arm around me, and he says, go on home. Go on home and be with your family. If that had been somebody else or a particular situation, a boss, they may not have known it. I mean, that was almost a fireable offense.
Right.
You understand?
So,
and I lost it. Their whole objective was to get at me, to get me to react. What I'm saying is, in the moment, you never know what's going on with somebody. You don't know what's going on in their mind, even though the proper cautionary position to take is what you
The
articulate.
best thing for you would be not to have acted, though, right? The best thing for you would be not to have acted.
That's right. And sometimes, but it's hard.
I have my own stories like that.
So the fans now have the fans do have an important place in the game. Okay, the interaction between NBA players and its public is the best in professional sports. This is why you see the entertainment value up. All of the NBA players that are on Forbes list and their social media is high and on multiple commercials. Like, the popularity of the game is at an all-time high. But what ends up happening is the public thinks they pay the player's salary. And that's not accurate. The owners pay the player's salary. And so when you have that mentality and you come to a game, you think, I paid my ticket, I can do and say as I please. I was leaving MSG, walking off the court, walking through a tunnel. The fan threw a towel straight in my face. I tried to jump up and snatch the fan down, and if it was up to me, I would have broke that fan's neck when he hit the floor. That was my intention. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, it didn't escalate to that point. But also, they are there to egg you on. Like, you are, when you come to a game, it's like you're there to root for somebody or root against somebody. And so there's a line you can cross.